All right, Bears versus Commies, player grades, team grades, how they did, instant reaction now. I guess it's not instant, is it? Next day. Guys, I wanted to do more yesterday. I've had a little bit of weather change, allergies, I think, gunk, and I just didn't want to come on yesterday after that exciting win, but I had a blast, just like the rest of you guys did. How much fun for the Bears to be winning some of these games that we're normally not used to winning. Exact same score of last week, coming down to special teams at the end. And man, Jake Moody being huge for the Bears. Take that, Niners. You botched it. You got rid of a player that you should have never got rid of. You drafted him in the third round with a comp pick. Thank you for doing that. So the Bears win 25-24, 2 weeks in a row. Block a kick last week, well, 2 weeks ago, versus the Raiders to win. And then put a field goal through this week to win versus the Commies. So what we do is we go through everything on this one related to grades, standings, all of that stuff. As you can see right there, the Bears are just above middle of the pack now, right here at 3-2, tied with the Vikings and Falcons. Obviously, the Vikings have the head-to-head tiebreaker against us. Beating them later this year will help that and should put us in a good position. But the Bears right in the middle of the pack, right above the 500 teams there. I should make me a little smaller there so you can see all the teams. The Jets holding down the bottom, only team at 0-6, no undefeated teams, 2 teams at 5-1 with the Colts and the Buccaneers. And over here, NFC North is the tightest division. Every team has a winning record, only division to have that. This is going to be fun, interesting, exciting. It's going to be fun to watch this as we go throughout the rest of the year. So let's get into the grades of this game. First, we always top off with Caleb. We start with Caleb on all of these. Pull me off screen for this. All right. I pulled me back on screen. Sorry. I gotta talk for just a second. Both things can be true. This is after week 3. We'll do after week 4, and then we'll show this week. Both things can be true that Caleb managed the game well. He was a field general. He did a good job of doing what was needed to get the job done and relying on those around him, i.e., primarily DeAndre Swift, i.e., the defense, i.e., his offensive line. Even Luther Burden, even DJ Moore, letting them pull the shoulder of the weight because Caleb Williams did not have a good game. It was a bad game on Caleb's part. It brought every one of his metrics down. He's one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the league, and it showed up in this game, throwing behind players, throwing over their heads. His accuracy is his weakness right now. His ability to manage a game and come through in the clutch is very important. I'd rather have him be inaccurate, something that he can work on and grow and fix, than be accurate and not clutch, i.e. Jordan Love. Jordan Love last year and the year before, constantly, if the game was close, would blow the game in the fourth quarter. Turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, but he was very accurate through parts of the year, and now he's really accurate this year and had the same issue in another game. Caleb can fix the accuracy. It's going to be a matter of continuing to get confidence behind his line, not self-inflicting wounds, not getting it out of his own way, basically. He's got to get that connection with his receivers and feel confident in his ability to not have to zip a 500-mile-an-hour fastball along the sideline, to be able to put some touch on it, and to be able to trust guys to come down with balls that he doesn't throw behind them. He's got to lead them and not feel like things are going to go south. So that's a very basic and short form answer for Caleb. But overall, he's not turning the ball over. He's not throwing the game away. And he comes through with his dissection of the defense, knowing how to handle situations, taking off when he needs to take off, getting it in DeAndre Swift's hands, checking down. He's looking good as a general behind the offensive line. Don't hate this comment because it's true. It's just the reality of where Caleb is. So after week 3, he started to turn things around from the beginning of the season. Hold on here. So that's after week 3. I know this is a lot to dissect. There's a lot on there. This is after week 4. Now here's this week, and I'm just going to roughly go through this. His grade, his PFF grade, it's down to 25th in the league because he's just not doing a great job. He's down from 11th to 25th. Accuracy is his biggest issue. He's down from 29th last to 37th in the league. His accuracy, you see this last game, was 62.1. You need that to be right around 80% to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. You can see number 10, Kyler Murray, is just below 80. 80 is right there between 6 and 7, between Jordan Love and, man, is that Justin Fields? My goodness. So there's Only so much you can deduce from this, but his game was not the best game. 17 of 29, 58% completion. Only one big time throw and 2 turnover worthy plays, but 3 sacks, which was uncharacteristic. He's still 16, so average in his pressures turned to sack, which is way better than last year. Way better than last year. So last year, he was almost double that with his pressures turned into sacks, which was one of the biggest reasons the line couldn't get flowing. Well, the offensive line is looking much better this year. He's the sacks he's taking are self sacks. They're not the offensive line's fault, so he needs to get out of those. Only 3 sacks taken though. Previous year with 17 pressures, he probably would have taken 6 sacks. I mean, realistically, double what he's taking now. So his pass rating's up, his pressure turned into sacks is down. He's making good decisions behind the line of scrimmage. He's just not accurate yet. So there's 2 ways you can look at that. Oh crap, woe is me. Or holy crap, we're squeaking out these games 25-24 with our quarterback not being in fact being the second least accurate behind Cam Ward. We're squeaking out these games. When he turns that around, imagine what this offense is going to look like. Instead of 252 yards on 17 of 29, 330 yards on 23 of 29. I mean, there's just so much potential here for Caleb. So this isn't a trash on Caleb. It's being very realistic. That's what we have to do, is just be realistic about the situation. So that's where things stand. Overall offensive grades, Joe Thuney had the highest grade. Not a shocker, guys. That was the best, biggest pickup of this last year. He has completely transformed himself and those around him. He looks phenomenal, and I love every bit of watching Joe Thuney. 88 grade. DeAndre Swift, obviously his grade's going to be high. I thought it was the highest. Joe Thuney ended up being higher. 85.6. Luther Burden, who had 4 receptions, looked really good all night. Put himself in good position, good separation. Don't know the separation rate numbers yet. Looked really good. Darnell Wright looked really good. Cole Kmet, specifically his blocking, was evident several times through the game. Put himself in good positions as well. DJ Moore looked good. He was blocking all night. Now, the rumor is, and it sounds like it's an accurate rumor, that even after celebrating, being fine on the field, he went to the hospital, was spent overnight. I do not know why. If any of you know, put it in the comments. I've heard rumors as far as dehydration to concussion. It doesn't sound like something serious, but they wanted to monitor him, and it sounds like something lightheaded, something with his head from what I'm gathering. But if you know, or you have a link, put it down there. I'm sure very soon it will come out. Rome looked pretty good. One thing I want to see from Rome, some of those contested catches coming down with. That's why he was touted. That's why we took him so high. Now I get he's being asked a lot of double teams, thrown it to him in coverage, 2 guys on him, and he hasn't allowed an interception against him. But that's what he's expected to do, is get those high point balls and come down with him. He looked a little gassed, a little winded on some of those, wasn't able to come down with it. Not attacking Rome as well. I just think there's room for growth. Drew Dahlman, I think, got the benefit here of PFF being kind to him. I thought he looked absolutely terrible last night. I was not a fan of Drew Dahlman. I would have given him a D grade. They're saying he was a B grade. I'm not in favor of that at all. I think Drew Dahlman was the weak link with a poor snap, with a couple of pressures allowed. Roshan Johnson being back in was nice. Colston Lovin looked good. Had a nice play taken away from him from terrible officiating. Obviously, Rome did as well. On and on down. Theo looked really, really good to me. His footwork and his base are what I was watching. We might do an all 22 breakdown. I've got a busy week, but I might get time to put that in at some point this week. He looked really good. There's a couple times that guys got into him, but overall, for his first start at left tackle, second start overall, his base looked good. His footwork looked good. I'm impressed. Didn't allow a hit or a sack. Did allow 2 pressures. Overall, I'm happy with Theo Benedict. Jonah Jackson, I thought, played better than they had him playing here. I'm a little surprised by that one. So that's interesting to me. I thought he had one of his better games so far as a Bear. And then Caleb with the worst grade overall, mostly because of accuracy. No big-time throws. I said 2, but nothing really that struck lightning. There was one down the right side between the hash and the sideline. That was a really solid one. I believe that was to Luther Burden or Olamide Zaccheaus. Either way. One drop by Zaccheaus that was costly there at the end. Probably could have took off for an 80-yard touchdown. So Zaccheaus is down here as well. But Caleb just needs to get a little more accuracy, and that grade would have been much, much higher. As for his offensive line, though, Offensive line looked really solid. You see here the grades for them. 2 pressures by Theo Benedict, 1 pressure by Rome, 1 pressure by Jonah Jackson, 3 by Drew Dahlman. So even though they gave him 3 pressures, they gave him a high grade. So they're seeing better things than I'm seeing, apparently. Darnell Wright, 1 pressure, but overall, the entire line, including Theo, even though they graded him low, I felt like did a very good job. 14 defensive pressures. I'm sorry, yeah, 14 pressures. They've only got 8 listed here. So that's an interesting anomaly for me. Again, PFF not perfect. Onto the defense. TJ Edwards looked really, really good coming back. He was one of the biggest reasons we were able to get pressure, be able to get defensive stocks. His run defense, 84. Tremaine Edmonds' run defense, 90. Montez Sweat, 91. If those 3 can keep that up every week, this defense will be something to be reckoned with. That was phenomenal. The only thing we're really lacking is Grady Jarrett coming back. Look, his replacement, Jonathan Ford, the worst grade on the day. And then Nashawn Wright and Nick McLeod trying to fill in for that other cornerback spot. Really not good. Kyler Gordon, I take this with a grain of salt. I don't think he played that bad. He allowed the 1 touchdown, and he was off on the defender on that one. So I think they're grading him hard on that one. But overall, his first game back, I thought Kyler played really well, especially against the run. He really stepped in where we've struggled with our nickel against the run. He played really well. I thought Dominique Robinson and Shamar Turner got graded a little harsh. I thought they should have been a little higher up. Chris Williams probably a little farther down. He got credit for a tackle there that he kind of just fell into, which is fine. Jervon Dexter probably should have been a little higher with 2 sacks and in on every play. His average depth of tackle was down a little bit at 7 because he chased someone down from behind when he normally shouldn't have to do that. So I'm not really, worried about that. But DeMarco Jackson stepping in when Noah Sewell had to come out with his concussion and was out of the game. DeMarco Jackson really stepped in, and he was noticeable on the field. So DeMarco Jackson, I'm impressed with that he was able to do as well as he did, filling in a spot that was not expected. So very impressed overall with the defensive unit. I felt like they played an awesome game. I thought they did a great job. Here's your defensive line, your pass rush. This is tiny, I know, but the things to point out here, Dominique Robinson with 4 total pressures, 19.2 PRP, which is PFF's metrics of getting pressure. He had a sack. And then Jervon Dexter with 2 sacks as well. These guys really affected the pass rush. They looked really good. Montez Sweat with a 20% pass rush win rate. And Dominique Robinson with a 20% or 30%. Geez, I didn't realize it was 30 before I listed that off. Looked really, really good. Both of them looked good. Dio Odengbo, still something to be studied, something I'm worried about. Does not look like he's worth $16 million a year. But if you're getting this production out of Dominique Robinson on a contract year of all years, sign him now to a low-level extension, 3 years to $5 million a year. Let's get it done now if he's playing this well. They're going to see how he does for the next couple of weeks. But Dominique Robinson really stepping up and impressing. He and Montez Sweat really held this together. And Chris Williams, they're saying had a good grade, but 0 pass rush win rate, 0 win percentage. So PRP. So I don't understand that one. But overall, Shamar Turner, I think, played better too. You can see down here, they gave him a 63 grade on the run defense. He was in on almost every play that he was in on in the game. And he was so close on like 3 of them. And I posted that on Twitter. He almost had the stop on 3rd down for a tackle for loss, and the player lunged ahead. I think there's a lot of potential there with Shamar Turner. I'm really impressed with what I saw from him in this game. I want to see him get more reps. So I was impressed with that. Andrew Billings not having the best game. We need Grady Jarrett back bad. This is the run defense. So I'm in the way, so you can't see it says run defense. One thing to point out here, 2 stops by Montez Sweat, average depth of tackle, negative yards, which is huge. TJ Edwards, 2.3, which is huge. Jervon Dexter, other than the 1 tackle where he caught the guy from behind, would have been right in the same range. So those guys all looking really good. The middle linebackers, Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, weak side and middle linebacker. Kyler Gordon stepping in and helping. Those were all big things. And Andrew Billings was good on the run defense, even though his pass rush was a little bit weak. So those are small. I know that. I'm sorry. I'm getting you a lot of information in there. Pause it, zoom in. Overall, Jonathan Ford needs to get off the field. Dio Odengbo needs to get off the field. We need Austin Booker in there, and we need Grady Jarrett back. Here's your coverage grades. DeMarco Jackson with the best on the team, 4 coverage opportunities, no targets, no receptions, but he was in good position every time. TJ Edwards, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, all above a 70 grade. So that looks really good. Nashawn Wright, again, holding on the bottom of the team, which is not good. I didn't take the lineman out on this one. I don't know. I was kind of in a hurry, to be honest with you. Tyreek Stevenson, not his best game, but not terrible either. 118.8 NFL pass rating against, 2 targets against him, 2 receptions. He's had better games. But overall, the defense as a whole filled very well in their coverage and their gaps, and it looked really good. And I can't end this video without emphasizing Jake Moody. Those who don't know, he was a 3rd-round compensatory pick for the Niners. And that's the advantage of having those comp picks, especially high comp picks. Hopefully we get a couple next year. 3rd round, pick 100 overall. So at the very end of the 3rd round, before the 4th round turns over, they wanted to get a new kicker. Moody looked great in college from Michigan. You see here, this is really small, I know. But overall, just struggled in that 2024 season. So very inaccurate in that 2024 season, 24 of 34. So he was on thin ice, and you can see his first game of this season was with the Niners. They won that game, but he was 1 for 3. But important to note, one was a bad miss, and it was a close miss within 30 yards, and the other one was a blocked field goal. So he was really 1 for 2 and 2 for 2 on extra points. So they just had him on really thin ice, which I think is pretty presumptuous, pretty premature, I should say, to cut him after, the first game when he's got so much potential, and he hasn't looked terrible. Over his career, 16 of 17 in that range. So that was his only miss in that range. 15 of 17 from 20 to 29. 13 from 21 is the big anomaly here. In 2024, he missed 5 between 40 and 50. So that's why he was on thin ice with them. With the Bears, he had 1 blocked there. So that's not really a miss. He was 3 for 3 with 1 block. And then above 50, he's 6 for 12, which is not crazy out of average. You'd like to see maybe 8 out of 12, 7 out of 12 to have your elite kickers, but 6 out of 12 is average. It's fine. A long of 57. Extra points, 95 of 97. So he's not a bad kicker at all. He's got a good leg. Obviously, with the Bears here, you see he was 1 for 1 from 30 for 39, 3 for 4. Again, that one was blocked. So he's 4 for 5 with the Bears yesterday. 1 extra point, 1 for 1. I suggested on Twitter the Bears make sure Cairo Santos gets healthy, again, especially against the Saints. See what he's got. If you've got a kicker that can kick 57, 60 yards, and he's going to be accurate in this game, test him. We're in some of those situations where he might go for it on 4th down. I don't expect us to ever be down against the Saints. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be a good game. The Saints are going to be preparing for this, and the Saints have looked actually pretty decent the last couple of weeks. So this is not a gimme game, and this is not a game the Bears should overlook. But I say with what Jake Moody did in this game, let Cairo be inactive 1 more game. See how Jake Moody does. Test him. Give him a couple 50-plus yarders. Heck, if we're right on that 60-yard line, 50-yard line, 10 yards, 50-yard line, and you're kicking it, a 60-yard field goal, give him a shot at it. I want to see what Jake Moody can do. I want to see if we've got an opportunity here to have a huge leg that the 49ers should have never gotten rid of. This would be big I would absolutely test that. I put a poll on Twitter. It's pretty overwhelming right now that everyone wants to see what he can do against the Saints. That's kind of us as fans, though. We're always trying to improve every position. I don't hate Cairo Santos. Jake Moody's got a big leg. I'd like to see what he can do. All right, that's it for grades. I'd like to do more with videos and stuff. I'll probably do that later in the week. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. If you don't mind hitting that like button, subscribing, commenting, it helps the algorithm. There's some good information in here. It's not the funner stuff like the highlights, the all 22, and the stat tracking. We're going to get into that this week, I promise. Hopefully things will flare down for me. I enjoyed the game last night. I had an absolute blast. I hope you guys did too. The Bears are on a 3-game winning streak. 3-game winning streak with a huge opportunity as we move into the second third of the season. The next 6 games are absolutely huge for the Bears to build some momentum and get this team playing, to build confidence that they can beat some of the tougher teams as we go back into divisional play here in 5 weeks from now against the Vikings. So this is huge. This is big for the Bears. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, da Bears, and bear down.